Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Thank you very, very much. Quick one, tomorrow we are going to do a Monday session live. I wanted to do a Sunday session live today, but we've just literally got back from Manchester, a four hour car drive, which wasn't helped by the fact that my engine light came on. So I had to wait for the RAC for another 2 hours. So yeah, I did want to do a Sunday session live, but I've just got to the studio. I am tired, it's pretty late. So tomorrow we're going to do a Monday session live where we're going to talk about absolutely everything and anything. So tomorrow, 8 p.m, make sure you're there. Don't forget as well, we are going to do the live watch along, of Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. I'm not sure if I'm doing it by myself or with someone, but we are 100% doing it. That will get underway Saturday, 8 o'clock. So a couple of things to put in your diary. All right. Let's talk about the fight card yesterday that I was at on DAZN. Someone reached out to me and said, Ade, you're not actually on DAZN that much. Obviously, I did an interview with Ebony Bridges, and I did that final interview with Conor Benn. And you are right. The problem is they are so stretched with time that if a fight goes beyond 5... So I'm basically scheduled to do interviews with all the fighters after the fights, as you guys have seen me do before. So ringside all the time. If a fight goes beyond 5 or 6 rounds, then it's like a no-no. Then it's a case of it's too tight. We want to get the main event in the ring no later than 10 o'clock, and we can't even do a 3 or 4 minute interview, which is very, very disappointing. They're going to look at it because I've made a few complaints about it. And not only that, but the boxers as well. The boxers want to be interviewed. Like I saw Baumgardner, we're going to talk separately about all the fights, but I saw Baumgardner actually look for me, like, are we doing an interview? And I was like, no, and it was Chris Billam-Smith, same thing, a career best win, looking for an interview. I want to ask him what next, no interview. So they want it as well, so it's disappointing. So yeah, if you don't see me much on the broadcast, that's the reason. All right, let's quickly go through the fight. We're not going to go through all the fights, but we're going to pick out a few to talk about. Well, box rec isn't working, but I want to talk about Jordan Thompson first. Jordan Thompson got a second round knockout. I actually didn't watch the fight live. I watched it later on. I'm not going to say, he's going to be the biggest prospect ever. I'm not going to go that far. That would be far too much hyperbole. But I do think there is something there with Jordan Thompson. Look, the guys he's knocking out, he should be knocking out, right? I'm not going to try and sell you anything here. But there's something about him where I think he looks good. He's light on his feet, clearly got power. Had a weird sort of start to his career where he was active, then not active, and now he's been very active in the last sort of year or so. I wonder what they're going to do with him. I wonder what the plan is with Jordan Thompson. Do they see something there? If they do, they're obviously going to navigate away properly, where maybe he avoids some of the dangerous fighters over here, or maybe they're going to put him in with names. A fight I would like to see him in, and I think this might be a step back for the guy I'm going to mention, but someone like an Isaac Chamberlain. Well, I think he's doing good work, but he's almost been forgotten because he's not doing it on a big platform. I think Isaac Chamberlain versus Jordan Thompson would be a good one, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. Quick word, I just touched on her at the start of the video, Alicia Baumgardner against Edith Matisse. Slightly disappointed with Baumgardner, if I'm honest with you. She didn't look as ferocious and as aggressive as I thought she would be, as she did against Terry Harper. She came into the ring quite somber and smiling. And I remember watching her come into the ring against Terry Harper thinking, fuck me, she's a killer. Against Matisse, it was almost a case of, I know I'm going to win this one and I'm going to make it look a bit easy, which she did. In the end, look, she won every single round. Got caught a couple of times, but she won every single round comfortably. I just felt right now when there's a Michaela Meyer fight to sell, or even a Choi fight to sell, or some people even saying the winner of Taylor Serrano fight to sell, go out there and look explosive. Now, once you realize there's not much coming back from Matisse in terms of even punch output or even punch power, then let's go through the gears and get her out of there. Matisse's never been stopped, so that would have been a statement. And I felt like she was cruising a bit, Baumgardner. I think she missed an opportunity there to, I don't know, just continue the big excitement and hype about her. Because everyone is very, very excited about Baumgardner, especially coming off that Harper win. And I felt like she missed a chance to continue that. But look, in the end, she got the win. And I guess that's the most important thing. But I think there was a chance there and she missed out on the chance. Chris Billam-Smith was interesting against Tommy McCarthy just because Billam-Smith didn't want that fight. Had the fight already, then had that fight against Brejion. So he's probably thinking, look, I want a fight against someone sort of world level. And rightly so. He's European, he's Commonwealth. And the last time he fought Tommy McCarthy, he was British champion. So he had all the belts. So the next step is a world level fight, not the rematch against someone you've already beaten. What he did tell me though, at the weigh-in or after the weigh-in was, I'm just going to have to make it look a lot better. And that's either a wide points decision or a knockout. He got the latter. He got a stoppage and it did look like a really, really good stoppage as well. He got hurt in the second round. Tommy McCarthy landed a nice left hook off the ropes. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't even know if Tommy McCarthy knew he hurt Billam-Smith because at the start of the third round, he didn't pounce on him. I was thinking, get out and be like a bat out of hell in the third round, and he wasn't. He's still very cautious. When I thought that Chris Billam-Smith was still a bit leggy from that punch. But one thing Chris Billam-Smith is bloody big, powerful, strong, durable, and I think getting a bit better with the way in which he sets his punches. Like inside, he's doing some really good inside work with that uppercut all the time. And that uppercut was almost the punch that got everything going for him in the fight. And in the end, he landed, 4 or 5 massive punches unanswered. And look, credit to Tommy McCarthy for taking them, but that was all she wrote. What now, though? What now? What do you do with him? I mean, you look at the division, and you've got Maris Bradis, who was supposed to go to Australia and fight. I don't know what's going on with there. Maris Bradis still chasing Jake Paul around the world. Obviously, Lawrence Okoli, and he's not going to fight Okoli. Okoli's his teammate. You've got Makabu there. Makabu was chasing the Canelo fight. Potentially, you could do a Makabu fight over here. I think DAZN and Matchroom could pay for Makabu to come out. Makabu might look at Chris Billam-Smith like easy work. I don't know. You've got, who else is there? The other champion. Gomorian? I pronounced his name. No, what's his name again? Sorry, that's going to bug me now. Gomarian, is it Gomar? You know who I'm talking about anyway. He's out there. He hasn't fought since 2019. He was supposed to fight that Russian, who I know I'm going to butcher his name, Grigoriev, I think. That fight's been cancelled a couple of times because of COVID. And now we don't know what's going on with regards to Russian athletes fighting, so it's a bit strange. So look, there are options out there. DAZN just have to get him one. Now, a lot of you might say he's not ready for that level. Well, when's he going to be ready? Again, European champion, Commonwealth champion, the next stage is you've got to go. So let's see what he can do. Campbell Hatton. This is an interesting one. Because again, online, I've seen some of the response to Campbell Hatton, which some's fair and some isn't. I think sometimes you forget that you're watching a 7-fight novice. I think because of the name, I think we're thinking we're watching the reincarnation of Ricky Hatton, because he looks like him, and when he throws his punches, he sounds like him. That's as much as it is. If you just watch him for what he is, which is a 7-fight novice, I think that will help because it will rein back your expectations of what to expect. I've now done that. I don't expect much from Campbell Hatton. What I do expect is little improvements every time. And I think we're seeing those little improvements. I mean, look, those little improvements might not be enough to even win an area title fight. It might not be in 10 or 15 fights. It really might not be. But as long as I see improvements, I'm not gonna sort of go too hard on him, because it's easy to. It's easy to. I will judge him in 10 fights, and the reason I kind of hold back on that is because I remember the way in which I judged Conor Benn earlier. I've watched some of our old videos, and Conor Benn after 5 or 6 fights, I was like, oh fuck's sake, this guy's he's only there because of his name. And now I think we all can see that Conor Benn's made vast improvements. So let's see what Campbell Hatton does. I have no expectation for Campbell Hatton, which might sound harsh, but I don't, because I'm not silly. I can see that he's limited, but again, let's see what he can do in 7 or 8 fights. Look, they're going to have to do something with him as well. There's going to get to a stage where they run out of opponents like they've matched him with. They're gonna run into journeymen that have had like 25 losses, but have had 25 fights, and those guys could upset and embarrass Campbell Hatton. So we'll see what happens. Conor Benn got the victory. I want to start a bit backwards. Amir Khan got brought into the ring. It wasn't me that brought Amir Khan into the ring, by the way. As I was stepping up, I saw Eddie Hearn call Amir Khan over, and I was like, what's he doing calling Amir Khan over? And I can see Amir Khan kind of saying, no, I don't want to come up. But Eddie Hearn was like, come up. So I was thinking, if he's calling him up, there's something going on here, which is why I asked Amir Khan and Conor Benn, like, what's going on here? Are we trying to make a fight? Because if we're not, there's no reason for Amir Khan to bring in the ring. Conor Benn seemed like he wanted it, right? Because Conor Benn knows it's a big money fight. Eddie didn't really want it because I think Eddie knows ain't gonna happen. And Amir Khan was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing in the ring, which was quite strange. So that was strange. But let's talk about the performance. I knew the first time I saw Van Heerden on Thursday. So I interviewed him on Thursday, and he looked like a dead man walking Thursday. And then Friday, I was like, oh my God. When he weighed in at 145.8, I was like, what are you doing? I don't understand what you're doing. I remember when Floyd used to kind of weigh low sometimes, and that was almost a show in a case of, I'm so fit, like I'm so under the weight. The weight was easy to make, but he looked like he was dying through the week. So it made no sense for him to come 145.8. So they clearly messed up the weight cut. I don't know, maybe a dodgy pair of scales from Quick Save. Remember Quick Save? I don't know what happened, but they messed up the weight cut. So yeah, I looked at him and I was like, he's dead. Conor's going to run through this guy like a hot knife through butter. Me and Darren Barker ringside a little bet. Darren Barker said round 6. I said round 3. And in the end, Conor got it done round 2. Now, look, not overlooking the performance, but with Conor and those kind of performances, you just forget them, and it's a case of what next? That's the question, what next? Look, Amir Khan was in the ring. Let's rule that out straight away. It's not going to be Amir Khan. The names that Eddie Hearn has mentioned throughout the week he mentioned 4 to me when I spoke to him. Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, Kell Brook. Let's get realistic about this. Won't be Adrian Broner. Won't be Danny Garcia. It shouldn't be Danny Garcia because I think Danny Garcia beats Conor Benn, and that's far too risky. Kell Brook wants too much money. Mikey's probably the realistic one. And I think Mikey's the one that would upset a lot of people because Mikey's a 140 guy, is coming off a loss as well. The name it should be, without no shadow of a doubt, is David Avanesyan. That's who Conor Benn should be fighting next. Now, I say that, yeah, as a boxing fan. I do a little show called Beyond the Bell for DAZN after, and we did a little 10-minute wrap of the fight card, and it was me, Andy Lee, Maxie Hughes, and Josh Warrington. And I immediately said to Andy, surely now they've got to go with Conor Benn, top 10, top 15, do it. Andy was like, no, not yet. I was like, geez, okay. So I thought, okay, Josh, what do you think? Josh was like, not yet. Maxie, what do you think? Maxie, not yet. So I'm like, are these professional boxers seeing what me and you don't see about Conor? It's almost like they're seeing things that need to be improved on before he goes into that top 10, top 15. And that's coming from boxers. Obviously, we as fans are like, go in there now. For me, Avanesyan's the perfect fight for him. It's risky, as it should be. Boxing shouldn't just be a case of picking easy fights you can win. Sometimes you've got to roll the dice. And if we're brutally honest, the last 3 or 4 fights Conor had, now that we know Conor's clearly a lot better than we thought, have been fights that Conor's gone into as a massive, massive favourite. Against Avanesyan, he doesn't go in as a massive favourite. In fact, he might go in some people's eyes, as an underdog. Not mine. I think he can beat Avanesyan. But that's the fight that has to happen next. I'm not having all this bullshit about, Avanesyan only sold 500 tickets. So what? What does that mean? I mean, it's not like Van Heerden sells any tickets. That fight was made. Is it because Avanesyan wants a bit more of the pot of gold? I don't know. But I think it's a good fight to make at this stage of Conor's career, this stage of Avanesyan's career. I just think it makes perfect sense. Because the problem we have with Conor and judging what Conor is because Conor didn't do the traditional English sort of area. So let's go back. Area, English, British, although he wanted the British title fight, Commonwealth, European. Because he didn't do that, we don't know where he is. There's some people out there, managers and promoters I've spoken to, that think Eko Usman beats him. Because again, we don't know where Conor is, because Conor's been fighting guys that were former, they're shadows of themselves, let's be honest. Former world title challengers, former world champions, but way past it. So we have no idea where Conor is. Now, if he did that route, we would know where he is, but we don't. So now you've almost got to jump the route. And the route at the top is Avanesyan, because he's the European champion. You beat Avanesyan, we will now know that you are, okay, European fringe world level. Right now, we don't. So I think Avanesyan is the perfect fight to make. And it's one that, look, Eddie Hearn keeps mentioning it. Like when I did the interview yesterday, I didn't mention it. Eddie Hearn mentioned Avanesyan's name. He's mentioned his name quite a lot during fight week. And that suggests to me that something might be going on behind the scenes. It needs to be. Conor Benn's next fight needs to be a big one. It does. He's 21-0 now. I think it's something like 14 knockouts. Go. We can't keep saying things, and I can't even keep saying, yeah, but he's not at the amateur stuff. He's not at the amateur stuff. It gets to a stage where that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because he's now a very good seasoned pro. You could have guys that have had 100 amateur fights that might not beat Conor Benn. So the amateur stuff doesn't necessarily matter. Conor Benn is a pro fighter and a very good one. And I think of all the names out there, like the order for me would be Avanesyan, Brook, Mikey, Broner, Danny. I'd keep Danny last because I think Danny's still good. Danny against Errol looked really, really good. So that's what I would do. Guys, what do you think? I mean, look, Conor Benn's clearly a talent, but he's a strange one because he's a talent and we're still not quite sure how good he is because he's blasting out guys that he should really blast out. Don't get me wrong, he's looking great in doing it. Looking like, when I spoke to Van Heerden, I spoke to him this morning. He's getting ready to go to America and, you know, he kind of making excuses, saying, look, he's been out the ring 15 months. Well, I guess it's a valid excuse, but he did say that Conor Benn's not the hardest he's been hit, but he said he's the fastest at closing the gap. He says he couldn't believe how fast he was. So Conor Benn's clearly got something there. As for Van Heerden, he spoke about wanting to still continue. I think he should retire. I mean, I'm more worried about just his preparation because 145.8, he looked punchy throughout the week, looked very frail, very weak. Hopefully he got paid well, but I think that should be it for him. He'll still continue because he spoke about continuing, but yeah, no. Let's be honest about this. I know Conor Benn blew out Vargas, but Vargas is better than him. Granados is better than him. Formella's better than him. Algieri's better than him. So, yeah, I think it was a forward step in the sense that it was a southpaw, but it was a backward step in the sense of the opponent. So let's hope it is an Avanesyan or a Brook. I wouldn't mind that next. Peace.